I'm very glad to be here again tonight. Although tonight, we start with the stuff that's not always so nice and we do not always like. Especially the budgeting thing is nothing less than a nightmare for most people. I know very few people that's doing a budget, but it is one of the big problems that we have is that people do not do a budget. And I understand 100% why they do not do a budget, because it's for them really a sort of a nightmare experience. But tonight we're at step 6, and it's called planning, budget, and management. And one of the basic reasons why budget is a nightmare situation and a situation of total red from the beginning to end is all about, number one, the planning is not there. Before you do any budget, you need to get your planning in line. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. We've heard it many times. And in our planning, we need to start with, I always tell people, you need a black file and a blue file. A black file is everything that your planning is all about, and your budget and everything as things are running, what it is all about. And your blue file is what we call your heavenly file. When one day you go to the other side, people can just take the blue file and they know what's going on, and they can sort of continue with it or sort it out what is going on. So in the blue file, if we need to have all the most important things. I've made a list there that you can find on moneywisegame.com. You can find there the whole course of MoneyWise, the 10 steps. But it is everything, like your ID documents, your passport, your certificates, your CV, your budget, your will, your trust, your resolutions, your company registrations, your insurance and medical documents, and TV license, if there's still something like that, your SARS documents, your property registrations, your bond documents, all official documents and business documents and everything that's official. It scared me when I talk to people, in terms of people attending MoneyWise, and I ask them about, where are these documents? Well, it's somewhere, I just can't lay my hand on it, but you need to lay your hand on these documents, when someone asks you, within 5 minutes at least. You need to know where it is. It needs to be together. Because these are very important documents, and that's what I call the blue file, is all these what in Afrikaans sê regsdokumente, all these stuff that is really what's all your life all about, and your agreements with people and companies, and your cell phone, and your bank stuff and everything. Don't put your passwords in there, because that's a bit difficult. But you need to get that blue file together. Sometimes your blue file is not even a file, it's maybe a cabinet full of stuff for people that's running big stuff. So this is, people say, but why all these hassles and stuff? You see, you can't expect God to help you and to bless you if your home is not in order, if your stuff is not in line. And I remember once SARS phoned me about something, I said to the woman, just hang on, I see the file there, I'm just going to fetch it, She was so surprised. She said, I can't believe it, people need sometimes a week and a month to find something, you just stand up, you pick the file, it's there. I said, you can ask me anything. I'll just pick it now for you, and you don't need to phone me back. I can give you an answer right now before everything is there. You can't expect progress in your life if you can't even handle what is already in your life. And therefore, you must get order in your life in terms of the blue file of everything that's there. And then the black file is everything that I'm planning, that I'm busy with. Where am I now? When I ask people, so where are you now? What do you spend monthly on fuel? What do you spend monthly on bonds? What do you spend monthly on this? They said, oh, well, I don't know. I just more or less know. You must know it at least till the last rand, what you are spending on whatever. How do you expect to go forward if you don't even know where you are at the moment? How do you expect to go forward if you don't even know where you're going from where you don't know you are now? You see, you need to know where you are now, and you need to know definitely where you're going, and you need to know what is the road to wherever you go. I believe people are born a success, and all people can live within financial freedom. It is a birthright to live in financial freedom. It is not a government right or a human right. It is a birthright from God to be financially free, provided, to live your life, to have enough for your creative purpose, and whatever basic successful life is all about. But we want it for free. We want it to come to us. There's no order in our lives. We don't want to do anything about it. It's not going to work that way. You need to find out who you are. And in the terms of your identity that we talked about, you need to draw a plan of where are you now and where are you going in heading in, maybe, let's say, at least 5 years' time. And you need to break it down to years. You need to break it down to months, and you need to break it down to weeks, and then you need to break it down to days. I mean, as I sit here, I know exactly my list for tomorrow is already drawn up. What must happen tomorrow? Because that is the micro part of the whole bigger plan. The bigger plan will not happen if tomorrow does not happen. Then tomorrow becomes Tuesday, and if it's not Tuesday, it becomes Wednesday. And so the plan never happens at the end of the day. And it is not so difficult as the fact that people just don't do it. People just don't get to the point where they do it. So we have the blue file, and that is everything together, what's in my life at the moment. And then we have the black file. Everything doesn't always needs to be, say, in a file or so, but it needs to be together in a way that you can lay your hand on it. You know what's happening now. You know what's happening this month. You know what is the goals that you need to achieve this month. Or before the end of the year. We've already said, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, because you will not accidentally end up there. I sort of lived my life, and for, let's say, about 10 years, I lived my life after marriage. Let's see where we can get. And, I trusted the Lord, and we never were, let's say, in a disaster or anything, but we never made progress. Till I realized I need to sit down with myself, and I need to sit down and ask myself, where do I want to go? And we draw up a 10-year plan, and 12 years later, we were there. We draw up a plan to become financially free, and within 12 years, we were there. But I've never heard of a person that accidentally happened to be financially free. Maybe you inheritance, you get a lot of money, but if you just get it, the possibility of losing it within 3 years are very big. You need to plan there. You need to have values in your life. You need to know clearly where you're going, what you're going to do, how you're going to do. And we draw up a plan when I was 36, and 12 years later, the 10-year plan ended up, and we could reach what we have planned. But let me tell you, I am absolutely convinced that it would never have happened if I haven't drawn up a plan, because a plan puts a drawing power on your energy and your capacities and your gifts and the money that you have currently. It puts a drawing power on your budget, because your plan is always bigger as your current budget at the moment. When I was in the army, they told us, 90% of any operation is planning, 10% is the execution of the operation. And that's really true. You need to sit down and get to the detail of the thing and get convinced what needs to be get done. Otherwise, you get big surprises along the way. And even though you do planning, diligently and intensively, you still get some, things that just happen to be there you didn't know of. But just think of how many of those things will be there if you didn't plan at the end of the day. So I need to plan according to my creative purpose. I need to understand what is my gifts and plan according to that. There's a Proverbs 18 verse 16 is saying to us, your gift will make a way for you. Your plan need to incorporate who you are, your gifts, and then it's an outflow of what you see you came to do on earth and deliver on earth. You must get to a point where you must start to believe in this plan and believe that if God has given you this plan, this is the plan that must happen, and you are the person that's going to make it happen, and then and believe in it. I remember, in us in buying houses, we're buying a house from a investor that went down with the house. And then, my son was also involved, and we make our calculations and things. And this, he said, this is the possibility of this, and it can go this side or this side, and there's lots of things hidden in houses beyond plaster and whatever, But one thing I said to him, when we buy this house, we put down our heads and we will make it a success. It's not an option. We don't buy a house as an experiment. We don't start a business as an experiment. When we go and start it, we will make it a success. We will put our faith and our gifts and our everything behind it. Yes, there may become sometimes where you really realize, listen, I have made really a big mistake. Well, if you really know, draw the line, get out of the thing, and get into something else. But the point is, whatever you do it with everything in you. It's not an experiment. People often tell me we will start this thing and see if it's going to work. Well, it's not going to work. I tell you it's not going to work. Because you are the thing. You are the business. You are the investment. You are everything. The house is not going to work because it's just a house and because you put some money into a house. No, you make it a success. It is you that's the thing at the end of the day. And you must put your whole heart behind it, your persuasion, your belief, and you just need to take the thing to success yourself. And not to say to yourself, well, we will see if it's going to work. Experiments is not working. You need to start from the point of we're doing this and we're going to do it in excellence, and it's going to be a success. Because if you've got a plan, I had this 10-year plan. 10 years is a long time to find out, this was not the right thing. So we put down for 10 years, we put our everything in it, and 12 years later, it could manifest itself. But we put our whole hearts into it because we knew there was not another 10 years to repeat it. We need to break through within the 10 years because of family situation, 6 children, studies, and all these things. We can't wait another 10 years. Then the children is not in a home, then we most probably will not need the money. We need the money within the next 10 years. It must be produced. A plan gives us some objectives of, what we're going to reach in terms of 5 years, 1 year, monthly, daily, and whatever. A plan brings for us focus in our own lives. We are the original, but the plan is sort of an explanation of what is in us and explaining what we're going to do and how we're going to do it at the end of the day. It brings certain definite expectations. It's much more than, let's trust the Lord, we're going to get some money that we can invest and we can, no. Listen, we've decided that we're going to buy a house, say by December. By December, we're going to need what amount of money, and we expect the money to be there. We're going to do everything for the money to be there. Yes, it's maybe a large amount of money. It puts me in a red because I do not have it at the moment. But the plan draws you into a mode where you start to say, but, I must get this money before December because otherwise I can't buy the house. Otherwise, the plan is not worth it. And it puts a drawing power on you to start to expect that it will happen, it's going to appear, it's going to work, and you can't believe it. Then it's working. Every house I bought without the salary, and every house was denied for me a bond, and every house I could buy. Because I just said, listen to them. My persuasion in buying the house persuaded the people on the other line that, listen, this is a good client. You can give him, because he's persuaded, just close your eyes. He's not a normal one. He's not normal on the banking procedure, but, give it to him, because my persuasion became their persuasion. Because I told him, listen, I'm not trying to make things work. I'm doing the thing. I'm living the success. I am the success. I mean, it's the biggest privilege for you to do business with me. I'm not asking you the money. I'm just here to say, give me the money, because it will profit you. You will never have a month where I will not pay, because I don't have such months in my life. I don't expect such months. I don't foresee such months, because Because I was sent to live a success. I'm living the success, and I'm going to live a bigger success. Because I believe in who I am. I believe what I was sent for. I believe what I was sent for to do on this earth. And yes, not everything on my plan is always working 100%, but it's working 80, 90%. So, and we just adapt to make it and bring it to 100%. And that's where a plan is necessary. But we're not trying to achieve something. It's not an experiment. Sometimes I talk to people, I say, what's your next step? Well, we're going to see if we can get an house. Listen, it's not we're going to see if we're going to get an house. Draw the line and say to yourself, by the end of November this year, we will move into our house. That's it. It's the line. We're going to do it. We're going to make it do. We're going to make it happen, because that is in our plan. But if it's not in your plan, you just, okay, it would be nice if we have a house, and we'll see, That's why people's lives are not happening. That's why people can't buy. Because some more or less, mostly your buy is above what your current budget and everything, and it puts you into the red, and you need to get more money. And so the easiest part is just, let's, don't put me in discomfort, let's walk the road of comfort. No, the plan will put you in discomfort, because the plan is bigger than what you're living at the moment. The plan will maybe give you even nightmares, good nightmares. Because the plan will tell you, listen, in 5 years, you need to be there. You can't see it, but you need to take the first step, and at least you know what needs to happen tomorrow. So just don't worry, just go and do what you know must happen tomorrow. And you start to move on this road. Okay, so it brings a definite expectancy. It gives us goals to work for. It is also important that our plan needs to be according to the phase of life that you are in. We've already said it, but let's repeat it, that for me, there's 4 phases in life. 0 to 20 is the phase where you get established in your own identity. Mainly you are in your parents' house, you live on their budget, and it's a time that you spend on yourself. 20 to 40, the next 20 years, is the time that you need to find yourself in the community. It's an extremely important time. That's the outward time. The first 20 years is the inward building. Then it's the outward building. About everything about doing your life, you're gonna decide there who you're gonna marry, what car, what career, what business, who you're gonna live, holidays. Everything is sort of manifested. You need to find your flow and your position and everything in the community. It's the most important time in terms of financial freedom. Most people are just sort of, let's see the first 10 years. No, you need to get in. The earlier you get into the thing, financial freedom and time has a very, very big correlation with each other. The earlier you get into your plan, I mean, if I got into my plan at 36, if I got into my plan at 10 years earlier, I tell you, I would have made at least 4 times more money than what I've made between 36 and 48. Because it becomes exponentially. It's about exponential stuff. And you need time for that, because not everything is running, like within a week and a month and whatever. We need time in the process. So 20 to 40 is a very important time. You don't sit around and think, and wonder. No, you do. You start up things. You activate things. 20 to 40. 40 to 60 is to live your dream. Is to start to maybe throw off stuff that's not really you. You found this is not really me. Maybe throw off stuff, and you release more time. You're supposed to be, you can be financially free in 20 years' time if you do it slowly. So if you do it between 20 and 40, you can be financially free at 40, maybe at 45, and you can have more time for what is really the dream in your heart. And your money situation is not ruling you so much any longer, because you release your money release some time for other stuff in your life. 60 to 80 is your time to live your legend, is to help other people to live their dream, and to bring them into their situation where you help them to get into that situation. In our plan, we need content, we need phases, we need a strategy, goals, dates, weekly, yearly, monthly, and we've already said these stuff. We need to ask in our plan things like, what is the most important thing for me? What will it cost to do to manifest this plan? Where are my family? What do I want in family? What do I foresee? Financials, milestones, my basic calculations. Who are the most important people that's going to help me to do this and develop me? What's my gifts, my talents? What's my values? What is and most important, what is my next step? Because everything is one step at a time. You must know your next step for tomorrow, for the next week. What is your next step for this week? If you've got your time your plan in place, then we come to the budget. And this is really, if the plan scares you, then the budget will really scare you. And people, let me tell you from the first time, up front, that your budget will always be red. Don't think there's ever a budget of comfort. When you're at the point of financial freedom and you've reached your goals, then it's another story, maybe. But in my experience, your budget is always red. Make peace with it. It's supposed to be red. Your budget is never, maybe Bill Gates, you got billions and billions, then your personal budget is not any longer a problem. But I've seen in my life, your budget is not in red because you're living in your credit card debt. No, that's wrong red. The right red is the fact that there's always something bigger that needs to happen in your life, and you do not have currently the financial provision to do it. That's normal. That's a normal life. That your planning is always running in front of you and drawing you into something that you do not have actually at the moment, all the money. But that's not the issue. Don't look at your budget and get discouraged because it's in the red. It's normal to be in the red. The most important thing is just know what's going on. Where is the problem, and where is where are we lacking money? What's going on? What is the dimensions of my budget? Is it my 6 children that's eating up all my money, or is it that I'm spending more money on food than anything, or maybe on toys and cars and whatever? Is to find out what's going on in my life. You need to have that budget and to find out what's going on and how I'm going to change it. Yes, it's not always easy to change it, but let me tell you, without a plan, it's about impossible to change it. So get a plan in the first place, then you get into your red budget, but then you start to work the thing. And it's not an overnight thing, but you need to get to know, I actually see, that we're spending too much money here and there, and I'm spending too much money maybe on insurance or whatever is going on. But most people don't know where they're spending their money. They just got this debit orders, and they're just closing their eyes, and they just see the amount that's in the bank, and they're trying to get out of it. But there's always more months at the end of the month than there's money in the bank, and that's the problem at the end of the day. So the budget is actually helping us to understand in the first place that I want to achieve this in the next month or maybe year. But currently I need, say, maybe 40,000 to monthly to do it. But at the moment I maybe only have 35,000, whatever the amount may be. So I see what is the deficit. There's 5,000 missing. Now I need to start to make plans and look for what's going on. Where can I get it? How can I make a plan? Because that deficit is helping me to put drawing power on me to start to think what's going on. Okay, where is my money? I'm thinking, but maybe 30,000 would be enough, but why is it not enough? And looking for the thing, and the budget is helping you to find the problems and where to scale down, where to scale up, where to make more plans, activate more things. And don't get intimidated by your budget. Don't get intimidated by the amount of your budget. To be honest with you, I'm doing this exercise especially, when my children were in home, I was doing it literally December. I was doing, this whole thing, and I couldn't believe it, that my budget doubled every year. And every year in December, I thought, man, this is a nightmare. And you couldn't believe it, reaching the next year, December, I look back to what's happened, and everything happened. I said to myself, but I thought this is impossible, and now we're here and it happened. And then you look at the next budget and it's doubling again. You think, but this is impossible, but I look back and I see, but it happened last year. Why can it not happen the next year? Sometimes I look at myself and I say, but how did it happen? And I couldn't always answer even that question. But the point is not that you always know all the answers. The fact is that you start to work with the thing out of yourself. You start to make decisions. The budget helps you to handle yourself. To say to yourself, listen, to talk with yourself. Your budget helps you to get the right self-talk, instead of, oh no, this is nightmare. Let's just stop this. Let's just put it away. Said, okay, we now here, we need double next year for what we have at the moment, currently monthly. But let's say, okay, number one, I believe in what I'm doing. Number two, I believe in myself. I've got a God that's behind me because he's given me the plan. And he's given me something else that I can do, and I can do this, and I can do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to try it. And guess what? At the end of next year, it happened. How did it always happen? I couldn't even tell you how, because the answer does not lie in the how. The answer lies in the fact that you start to believe in yourself that you were sent for this, and the amount of money needed to live the life that's inside of you is not the big issue. The big issue is that you must start to believe that you need to live that life. Come what may, because in doing money-wise, coming here at session 6, especially 7 and further on, people start to get open and they said, listen, I had a dream. I buried the dream because it doesn't fit into the budget. Now I realize the problem is not the dream. The problem is not the budget and the amount of money. The problem is I gave up upon myself. I gave up upon the belief that I can live this thing. So I buried the thing so that it no longer speaks to me. It no longer puts a rate on my budget. I put myself in a comfort zone. Forget about your dream, forget about your creative purpose. We just make an amount of money and we just move through life and let's have a nice holidays and whatever. But in the meantime, you're unhappy because you're not living your real self. The big key is you. The big key is not your finances. The big key is if you can handle that thing and make peace with it and battle with it and get to that other side and say, listen, it's not about the amount of money. It's not about the fact that I need next year 200,000, 500,000 or 1 million. The amount of money is never the issue. We are the issue. If the amount of money is necessary for your creative purpose, let me tell you, it's already inside of you. You need to believe what is inside of you because it will come from the inside to the outside. But we don't believe in ourselves. It's not about the amount of money. I don't mind if your creative purpose needs 1 million or 10 million or 100 million. The amount of money is not the issue. The issue is, do you believe that you need to live that thing? And if that thing is really your creative purpose, it will be a thing that is that something you live that will enhance the life for other people, serve other people, and make life better for other people. Your creative purpose is never that you will have at the end of the day 10 boats and 10 houses or whatever, for yourself. It's all about getting provision to go into the world and serve other people, not serving yourself. Yes, you may have enough for yourself. That's not wrong. It's biblical. But to have more than enough for yourself so that you can spend it for other people. So if we look at the budget from that viewpoint, it becomes a total different thing. You're no longer impressed or intimidated by the red. The red will always be there. As I sit down today here in financial freedom, I still live in red because red is healthy as long as it's not credit card red. It's red in terms of the Lord is just putting more stuff in front of you. And He's saying, let's put something more in front of you. I could trust you with this. Let me give you more. Get it for me. Spend it there. Help these people or whatever. And it becomes a game. Because money is a game, people. Money is not this geïrriteerde ding in die lewe wat ons almal maar in die oë moet kyk. It's not supposed to be irritation. It's to be a game. Get it and live it. Get over the amount of money, and that person is a 10 million person or 100 million. Forget about it. The question is not, do you have money? The question is, what do you do with the money? Are you busy investing your money so that you can reap it one day, or are you just gathering money for your own me, mine, myself? That is not what it is all about. So when you can see a budget in that light, it becomes making plans, it becomes a challenge upon your life. And maybe at the end of next year, you didn't double your money. It's only 80%. What's the problem? What's the 20% between you and me and the Lord and whatever? Because you will be the person that grew vastly in the last year. That's what it is all about. And as you grow, what is inside of you can be released. That is what is important. Because everything is inside of us. It is not on the outside. I don't need other people's money and other people's businesses and ideas, because the idea and the business and everything is in me. I need to believe what is in me. I need to live what I was sent forth to do. And if you're battling with your identity, you will battle with your money. Because the financial problem is not a money problem. It is a personal identity problem. The moment you can settle the thing, and a budget is only there to challenge you in terms of what is in you. It's not there to speak the death over you and there's no hope for you and you will never make it. If that is what you see in a budget, you're looking wrongly at the budget. A budget is paper. Paper cannot kill you. Be open enough and brave enough to face what is in front of you in terms of your budget, and say to myself, I will make plans. I will get it. I will sort it out. I will not leave any stone. I don't know, I will make whatever I can do, I will do, and the Lord will do the rest. And we will go forward. And every year it's working out. The how is what I'm telling you. It's not to worry in the first place about the how, but in the first place about yourself, and to challenge yourself to be in that place where you say, but I can do better. I can live better. I can give more. I can invest more. I can grow according, you must know your limits in terms of your creation purpose, because the Lord gave me an amount of houses to buy, and he said, you don't go beyond it, because then you go outside of your creation purpose. Yes, you know precisely what to do it, how to do it, but the moment you go outside of this amount, this number I'm giving you, it's going to be a problem for you. So you stick to the number. So there is a number in everything, because houses is not my creative purpose solely. The main part of my creative purpose is to help people. But you cannot have any amount of houses and spend all your time there and you never help people. You see, it's not about the Lord restricting us. It just keeps us within the lines of what is set out for us at the end of the day. Our budget must be realistic. It must have a faith challenge. The community must be somewhere on your budget. Okay, so I've drawn up a basic, categories and subdivision for a budget. There's so many of these stuff that is just to give you an idea why a budget is really a nightmare. I don't know if Jasper can put maybe on for us there this 4 categories that we have that's from my side. In the first place, in the number 1, there's the essential payments. There's tithing, if you believe in it, sowing, taxes, debt, savings, investment, retirement, annuities, pension, life insurance, medical scheme. Now this is number 1 of the 4 groups. I mean, when you look at this thing, the average people paying, say 30% tax, when you give 10%, maybe in tithing, you are at 40%, then you give money for a pension or whatever. Before you open up your eyes, you're at 50% at least already. Medical scheme, at least maybe easily 4,000 a month or whatever, already it's red. You want to run away. You say, listen, man, I mean, we are here at the first department of our budget, and it's just impossible. Then there's the second one, the housing, and the bank will tell you that they will give you money for about what you can afford as a third of your income. So we're talking about 30% of your income you're supposed to spend here: rent, mortgage, installment, insurance, maintenance. That's about 33% of your income. Even may you rent or you buy, it's going to be more or less the same. And then there's life expenses. Now it gets even more serious. It's your vehicle installment, your petrol, your food, your dining, clothes, telephone, household items, your household maid, gardener, banking fees, tuition fees, water and lights, unforeseen expenses. I mean, most people live in this category already in 60+% of their income. But what about the first one is already 15%. The second one is 30%. This is easily 60% of your budget. And then there's the fourth one that I call the luxuries. That's supposed to be there. That's good to have it in your life. But normally people see this as luxury, to have a holiday, recreation, sport, hobbies, to inherit, to create an inheritance for your children, personal development, to study, to pay for studies and conferences, and financing your gift in ministry and going to help other people. I mean, people see this as luxuries. They're supposed to be part of your life in a normal life, but people do not have always money for this stuff. Now you ask me, I mean, this is red. This is red from beginning to end. What am I going to do? Well, the first point is you need to face it. How out of line it is and how impossible it is, you need to face it. I ran away from this my whole life long for 10 years till I sat down and I faced it. And it stirred fear in you, man. It stirred the hopelessness in you, because you say, this is impossible to sort of conquer this type of thing, that's in front of me. How am I going to ever conquer this thing? Then you sit down and you start to make plans. And there's many plans that you can start to make, and it's not, let's say, a list of plans that I can give you that will work for everyone and whatever. But we can start and look and say to ourselves, I said to myself, number one, that's what happened in my life. I said to myself, listen, at least I can scrap number two, housing. If I buy a house and I can pay it off, I can scrap 30% of my budget. And I can make it available for something else. That's a good idea. Yes, maybe it will take me 20 years, but if you don't start, you will rent for the rest of your life. So maybe I will pay on a house and it will be 20 years, but after 20 years, it will be over. Maybe I can challenge myself to pay it off in 10 years. Why not? I mean, that's always a possibility. Maybe I can find someone else to pay for my house. That's even another possibility that I never thought of at that time. So I bought myself a house, and I got the bank to persuade it to give me the money, and I sat there at eventually after a month or two arguing with these people, they gave me, and I sat there and I said to the woman, I will pay off this bond in 2 years' time. It just came into my spirit. I'm going to pay it off in 2 years' time. She laughed at me. She said, "Ach, man, don't talk. After all this quarreling, we give it you this, pay it off in 20 years, 2 years later. I said to myself, I'm going to pay it off in 2 years' time. How? I don't know. I'm just saying, Lord, I'm going to pay this thing in 2 years, because 20 years is too long for me. I cannot wait 20 years to scrap the 30%. Then I paid it off in 2 years. Believe it or not, after 2 years, then I went to look for her, but I couldn't find her to tell her, listen, I could pay it off. Yeah. You ask me how, get the expectation, get a plan, get the thing, and start to believe in yourself that it's going to happen. In a certain way, by hook or by crook, we're going to get it, The Lord will help us to get the thing done in the right way. And in 2 years' time, we could do it. And then we sit in our situation, and I thought to myself, okay, I could scrap 30% of my budget within 2 years' time. But yet, it's still a nightmare. It's still way too much, because with 6 children, I was in a situation where my budget was at least 70% going to life expenses with all my children and all the running costs monthly. I said, but I must get out of this thing, and I looked at the thing and I said, okay, I've got stuff that's big things like education and food and this and this and this. And I said to myself, but how can I get out of this thing? It sounds crazy to say to yourself, how can I stop paying for my children's education? And then I realized that there's a lot of money in my house that I can get in I can go back to the bank, get a bond. Then because the house grew because we built on, and I could get 200,000 from the bank, and we bought our first investment house for 100,000, investing another, renovating it for 100,000, but we could get 3,000 a monthly. So there was another 1,000 a month coming out of it that paid our children's educational expenses from the beginning to the end from that day. We first took that 1,000 and we paid also for the money for what we borrowed from the bank. So although we had a bond, we never had to pay it. The other people were paying it. Then we renovated the outside building, and it brought us another 3,000, and it paid for our educational expenses. And we started to get into a place where our children said, Daddy, where can we get another sponsor for this and for this and for this? And so I could get sponsors to sponsor my whole life. So that I could end up at the end of the day not paying any longer for my life expenses because other people are paying for it. Now, you think it's impossible. I thought to myself, I'm paying too much taxes. What can I do to pay less taxes? We can make a plan. People say, no, man, you need to make peace with this thing. I said, no, we can do something about it. Well, and then I found the trust structures and all these things and put your stuff in a trust and all these things. And I could lower down my taxes. It's legal. I'm not talking about illegal stuff. You could lower it down. Well, that's a story of its own that we're coming to. I think it's step 8 or somewhere there. Then the point is you can do something about all of these. And at the end of the day, I could get at a place where my budget starts to make total sense for me. I could scrap some stuff and I could put in more of the community in it, more of education for myself and for what I want to do. And I could allocate more and more money for helping people and investing in people, and not only in a plan or an investment plan. So in our lives, the property thing worked for us well. It doesn't work for all people, to be quite honest. You need a certain gift profile for it. But there's other things in life. You can tell me and mention me basically everything in life that can be a success and can be some investment or something that you can do. The main important thing is that the plan is in you. You need to make peace that your plan is in you. Don't say, okay, Arno did this, we're going to do the same. It's not working for all people because we are not the same. Ask yourself, and you need to get all people that I trained that got financially free on the plan that was from the beginning in them. The plan was in them. I said, then don't copy. Don't look at other people. You need to sit down with yourself. You need to make peace with yourself. You need to look this thing in the eyes and say, listen, this is the budget, it's red, but we're going to conquer it. The plan for this is in me. And all of those people could look it in the eyes and start a plan small that could grow and grow and grow and grow and make a plan here in terms of, cutting maybe here, investing more here and paying off here. And they constantly know where they're going and what's the next step this week, this month, and whatever. Small steps, because it's always small steps. But the small steps is making the thing. If you look at your house, it's small bricks. But it is the small bricks that's making the thing. All the small bricks together makes the house. And you need to look at all these important small bricks and say to yourself, the life that's in me, that I desire to live, is a desire from God that's in me. I'm not supposed to die and bury my plan, in the graveyard. It's not supposed to be like that. Maybe I can give you example. Do I have enough time? 2 minutes, Jasper, or what?
Arno, I think 2 minutes max. Then I just want to wrap up and get 1 or 2 questions out of the way.
maybe I think I will I will work it into some other session. It's a very good example of people that I know of that, came with also this impossible thing and how they could get out of it, in quickly.
Well, go ahead. I think for the people who are sitting here
I
tonight,
remember there
listen to
was
them.
there was people attending Moneywise. They were doing homeschooling, so they brought their 2 children with. They were working through all this stuff, and we come to step 7, the house. Must you own a house? Must you own more houses? What's your bonds? They came to me and said, we've got this house, so much money. We need another 14 years to pay it, and we decided to halve it and to bring it down to 7 years. We're gonna scrap everything together, and then we're gonna do it in 7 years. But we're gonna put everything. I said, go for it. So they went home. The next week, they came back, and they could see in this man's eyes, he was absolutely not excited about life. He said to me, listen, Arno, I can't live like this. I can't wait 7 years. It is way too much. 7 years. I said, but you're coming down from 14 years to 7 years. It's incredible. Most people couldn't do it. She said, it's too long. I said, why is it too long? No, we can't wait. I said, listen, be honest with me. Why is it too long? He said, I have found out that I've buried my creative purpose. I must go and farm, and I've buried it, and I can't live any longer with this thing in my life. I must start to do what I was sent for to do. I said, now, okay, how long can you wait? He said, 2 years. I said, okay. So you need now to go home, and everything will not be in the red. It will be in the red. You need a serious miracle to get out of this thing. But at least this is your heart's desire, and I believe that God will meet you in your situation. So they went home. Next week, he came to me, but he was flying above earth, I tell you. The next week, they went home, redo their calculations. They need an urgent miracle. Monday, after he got at work, and one of his friends said to me, listen, you need to be awake. My father's going to call you. He wants something from you. He said, I don't know your father. He said, but he's going to call you. The person called him. He said to me, listen, I've got a very wealthy person. He said, I've got this lovely place, this farm, and with everything. I'm just on pension and farming a little bit. I need to go back to a big business for 2 years. You can come here. You can farm here for free. Everything is for free. Everything is paid here. The harvest is yours. Within a week, I want you to move the end of the month. In 1 week, the end of the month, he moved there. He put some tenants in his house. They could pay off the house in 2 years. And I met him later on a market after a year and a half. I said to him, what's going on? He said to me, listen, the guy phoned me last week. He said he's coming back to his place. Our house is on the phase that it's going to be paid off now. In 6 months' time, we've already bought the farm next door. We're busy building our house there. We start to farm there, and so it happened. And then after 2 years or 3 years, they were there on the farm. They sold that farm. They bought themselves a bigger farm at the coast, where they said we're gonna go bigger in farming, more organic, and all these things. And everything worked out for them, because they put down a plan and they just went for it. And if you help yourself, the Lord will help you further on. If you show yourself diligent, that you can value what is inside of you, and you are honest, and you're not going to put it in the grave, but you're going to move every stone till you live that thing that's inside of you, the Lord will help you to do it, because He's sent you to live it. And He's the biggest key at the end of the day in that plan of yours. Thank you very much.